Hi, today I'm going to be going over the lookup and the search function. Essentially, when you use these functions together, it will help you analyze for specific keywords in a string of text. This is extremely valuable when the data is not so clean, and you can often see this issue when you try to analyze data from your internal database system. For example, rather than your financial system, whenever people input data into your company database, it may not really be in the format that's the easiest to analyze. To go over this, we're going to be going over an example today where we're going to analyze all the marketing transactions and we need to categorize them in specific sections instructed by the CFO. We can see the details here where we need to first categorize the marketing transactions in the source data tab in specific categories using the memo field, which are the descriptions for the transactions. And then we need to summarize the spendings in the analysis tab, which is currently empty. The categorization details are as follows. We need to organize the transactions by operational, special events, and lastly, social image. Lastly, the CFO has asked us to break down the spendings in further categories were identified. Some additional details are that the company is going through a brand recovery initiative given a recent faulty in performance. So one thing that I missed to say is that the company is an automobile company. So it looks like there was a defect in one of our products and we're now trying to recover our brand image through some of the marketing initiatives. Detail 2 is that advertising is frequently spent on corporate social responsibility ads to boost the brand image. And then lastly, special Olympic marketing initiatives were launched. With these details, let's now begin analyzing the source data tab. When we look at the transactions, there's really no details that we can use aside for the memo. If we were to do this manually, we would have to review each single memo and then try to identify what type of transaction this is amongst over 163 different transactions. That is not efficient, so I'm going to show you how to do this efficiently. The very first thing that we're going to do is set up an index to identify for specific types of transactions. The way we're going to do this is if it contains a specific keyword, I want to categorize it in a specific category. So let's actually call this category number 1, which is going to be the more high-level category. Let's now create our index table. I'm going to create a column called keyword. So if it contains this keyword, I then want to categorize it in category 1. Let's create a table here and then format it differently. And here's what I'm also going to do. Right to the side, I'm going to set up a filter of all the different memos where the category section is blank. And really from here, the next steps are to review the transactions one by one. Because we know that there are 3 specific categories that we have to look out for, which is the brand recovery initiative, corporate social responsibility, and the Olympics, we can try to narrow those down first. And really, whenever you're doing this in a real corporate setting, you generally have an idea of what to look out for. And then after identifying those, you would kind of lump the rest into just operational spend. So let's first identify keyword. And we can see that the CSR initiative, which is the corporate social responsibility, has the text of CSR. So let's type CSR. And I also want to identify for the brand recovery initiative. So let's just try to see brand recovery. So we see that the brand recovery initiative items have the word brand recovery initiative. So let's write brand recovery initiative. And we know that category 1, this is going to be social image. And now let's begin setting up the formula for category 1. So we're going to look up 1E plus 100, search these keywords within the memo, and then look up the category 1. And let's copy this down. And we can see that all the memos that have CSR and brand recovery initiative are tagged as social image. I'm then going to type in if error, where if there's an error, it will return blank. So then we can kind of go through these lists one by one if we really needed to. So cost of Olympic themed online video ads. We know that there's a special event of Olympics. So I'm going to type Olympic and then categorize this as a special event. And then really the rest, we can categorize it as an operational. But if you really wanted to go more in depth, you can kind of go through these one by one and then knock them out as you go along. For example, print ad cost for highlighting new safety feature. We can write new safety feature and then categorize this as operational. Fees for influencer partnership, operational. And notice how as I am populating this list, the filter list is actually decreasing one by one. So online influencer, so anything with influencer, let's just categorize it as operational. Then we can get rid of this one. And then magazine ads, or anything magazine, operational, media, operational, and etc. We can see that most of the other advertisements are already operational because there aren't any unique descriptions of that marketing spend. So if error, we can just label this as operational and move along. And now that we have the different categories, we can then create a pivot table in the analysis tab. So what we're going to do is bring the category number 1 to the rows, bring the amount to the values, and we now have a breakdown of all our different marketing spends. So we spent around 1.6 mil for normal operational marketing spends, around 300K to recover the brand image, and we spent around 1.1 mil on special one-time events, which are most likely the Olympics. So this is mainly operational that we need to retain. Social image, as long as we do a good job in upkeeping a good social image and our products are good, we can actually save around 300K of marketing spend. And lastly, for this special event, this is not going to be reoccurring every year, so this could be an area of savings for the future year. And by really categorizing this data set based on specific sections, we can then develop a better understanding of our operational levels. Using the lookup and search function is a very useful tool to analyze for specific keywords in a dataset. And again, if you're ever working with your internal database or any dataset that's not from your financial system, you may need to use this function to properly categorize these items in valuable sections. I hope this video helped you gain insight to the lookup and the search function and how to analyze datasets using keywords. I'm going to continue uploading more educational content, so follow for more.